Welcome to the EarthWorks podcast, where our team will share the jargon of carbon with many of the turf friends we've met over the past 35 years.
Hi, everybody. This is Joel Simmons, and I am very excited to announce that today is our 300th episode of the EarthWorks podcast. 3 podcasters, 300 episodes. 3 people being interviewed this week. So we're going to have a whole series of threes to celebrate our 300th episode. Who would have thunk that, 5 years ago, we would have, 6 years ago, right? Didn't we do this in 20?
Yes.
Yeah. It was definitely one of the best ideas I've ever had. Don't you think, Jack?
Yeah, sure. After I explained to you what it was.
What is it
What
again?
is a podcast?
What is a podcast?
Right.
Yeah. Once you told me all about it and explained it to me, I thought it was one of the better things I came up with.
Well, that's why you're the boss, you make
exactly.
big decisions.
And don't you forget it. No, it's been exciting. I mean, I have to say, it's kind of cool getting around, the GIS. We had a lot of people come up to us. Oh man, I listen to your podcast every week, and I'm very proud, that between the 3 of us, that we have never missed a podcast. We've done a couple great ofs, best ofs. We've done a couple things on holidays, but we've been pretty damn consistent. And I don't know that anybody in the turf industry has been able to say that. And I did one of my favorite podcasts was last week with Dr. Mike Fidanza. And I reminded Dr. Mike that the EarthWorks podcast is hosted not by 1, not by 2, but by 3 Penn Staters. And one of them actually went to Berks campus, where Mike Fidanza is a standing professor. So it was kind of interesting. I didn't even really make that connection. Of course, we just assumed that. But all right, so we're going to talk about threes because that's the idea. So let's go around the horn and talk a little bit about this. I'll start with you, Jack, since you kind of came up with the idea. For the
By kind of, you mean fully.
He totally came
Thank
up
you,
with the
everyone.
idea.
Something like that. Yes.
Thank you.
I
get credit for nothing.
You get credit for everything. I always tell people that you came up with it, and you know it.
Jack, the key is to have no pride in authorship. Just shower whoever needs to have.
Right, exactly. That's kind of my thought anyway.
Just slaughter it on.
In that, I don't know if you guys know that that Jack Higgins is also a great novelist. I've read,
Yes.
probably 20, 30 of his novels. However, Jack Higgins is a pseudonym, and the man's real name is Harry Patterson. So
Perfect.
So you could call me Harry if need be.
All right, Mr. Patterson.
If I don't get a haircut.
Yeah, well, you did, which was kind of nice. So you were the first podcaster. Your first guest was Josh Saunders.
Who
we've had on 3 times, maybe more. I said that because we're on a 3 theme. Have we had him on more than 3?
I think more than 3, yeah. Well, actually, one of the coolest things we did with the podcast was hosted out at the Women's Open in Lancaster. Yeah. And we had podcasts for days, and we brought in panels, and we had a real good time. We had Pete, Went, and Josh kind of do like a old super and assistant super from Kinloch, bust each other up. It was great.
Now we're going to do that again this September, aren't we? One of our favorite courses.
Oh yeah, well, so there you go. There's Joel with the lead in. That's my guest for this week, Mr. John Chassard, who I started working for in 2005, and did a couple of years with him, and then Joel scooped me up fresh out of the womb there at Lehigh Country Club to come over to EarthWorks.
Fresh out of the womb is probably the best description I have ever heard of that particular experience.
Nothing but a poacher.
Nothing but a poacher, and I was begged to take you. I mean, John, it was a great opportunity for both of us.
Oh, sure, it hasn't worked out well for you at all.
No, hardly at all.
Yeah, right.
Hardly at all. And John's been on. This will be his 3rd time. So
yes.
You see what I'm doing here? I'm keep coming back to this 3 theme, 300,
Yes.
3 people on. I actually have John Reilly on this week with the 300th episode. So I think this will be John's 3rd experience on the EarthWorks podcast. So
there you go.
So there you go.
3 and 3.
3 and 3.
So you were you're kind of burying the lead there that John and I are going to get to talk about the that Lehigh is hosting a stop on the championship tour this year.
Which is
They're
very
called
cool.
the Jefferson Championship, Jefferson Health. So that'll be in September at Lehigh, and yeah, we're gonna do it up big over there too. We'll put up the tent, we'll
We'll be
set up the
live.
mics.
We'll
Yeah,
have that. Yeah. Hopefully it won't be windy, and we'll be able to get stuff recorded well.
We've gotten better at production even since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go after it.
So Kevin, you got the best voice in all podcasting history. So and you're going to be bringing on your assistant, right? To your former assistant
Yeah.
to talk about your last superintendent place, right?
Yeah, it was one of my goals to never have to endure a rebuilding of the floating green, and he actually had to do it. So I'm going to pick his brain for a little bit and get the insights on the logistics, because it's not like you just take a dozer to a green and start hogging it out. So should be interesting. Hopefully we can get it done in a few minutes and
Good
give
luck
the
with.
listeners an overview.
So this is the famous floating green at Coeur d'Alene, which I can say honestly, I'm probably one of the few people that actually got to hit their head underneath it. But like I said, the first time I went underneath that thing, well, the only time I went it with you, I just couldn't believe that you could actually go under there, because it goes up to
Yeah.
about my neck, and
Yeah.
you're much taller than I am, taller than Jack, thank God, but much taller. Running joke in the company. Sorry,
That's
folks.
right. That's right.
But yeah, that floating green was pretty intense. I mean, it was a little scary. I was a little, it's very claustrophobic, and it's not very tall.
I
No.
remember taking a golf rider down there one time, and he wanted the whole inside, and it was a really rough, windy day, and he had a
Oh,
pair of really nice leather loafers on, and as he took that last step on that little
yeah.
that little gangway ladder, I said, "Hey, you might want to time this with," and then this big wave came up and wrecked his shoes, and
Oh boy.
but he did
So
end up writing the
there's
article.
standing water at the bottom of that thing?
Well, that was one of the reasons it was rebuilt, but I mean, it's floating in the lake, and the
Sure.
access door is on the windward side. So
So
if
it
it's
get
rough, you're gonna wear some of the lake, regardless of what you do, how careful you are.
That's pretty funny. So
Yeah.
let's talk about this silly podcast of ours. We've had some pretty cool things happening here, some great guests, and we've been able to maintain this thing for 300 episodes. How many did Mark Maron actually end up doing? Do you remember, Jack? It was a
I
thousand or
think
so,
like
right?
1600
Yeah,
or so like
but
that.
I guess that's going to be our goal, right? Is we'll just keep going.
So yeah,
But he
because
was
I
on two or
that's
three times a week.
twice a
Yeah,
week for since
10
2009,
years.
but
Yeah, yeah.
he just ended no longer. He ended just this year. So damn near 16, 17 years.
Wow.
He had the president on, so
Well, you guys have the
but
president on.
yeah, that's true. The president of EarthWorks. I love it.
That's our own claim to fame here. Yeah.
Oh man.
So,
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, I've had a couple. Actually, the first interview with John Chassard, I think we have bloopers from, because John and John and I go way back. He's one of my dearest friends in this industry. And I had him on, and he sits outside. I mean, I turn the computer on, and he sits outside, and it's like a wind tunnel, and all these chimes ringing. I'm like, John, where the hell are you? He goes, well, I'm sitting out on the porch. Well, you can't do that, dude. I can't hear you, and it sounds like there's a band walking across in front of you. That was very funny, and we had to relocate him into another spot in the house that was quieter, and it took us probably 20 minutes. It was kind of.
John's a wind chime guy. He got me wind chimes for my wedding, actually.
Oh, there you see. I
So
didn't know that. I
there you
knew we had
go.
wind chimes at the house, but that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I
He's
have
a,
wind chimes from him.
he's a little chimey. I can understand that. I hope he's listening.
Oh
I
yeah,
also had
yeah.
I also had I had a couple. I've had a number of close calls where people would come and go. I think one of my favorites was when we did I'm gonna I interviewed somebody from a trailer. and, and it was
Oh yeah, who the fella from California?
yes,
That
Mike.
like Mike. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed now that I'm blocking his name out, but it was one of the best podcasts that we had, and one of my favorite stories because Mike, and I'll think of it here in a second as I search. But as we were, as we were talking, he was actually in a trailer, and he was, coming in and out because it was in a very strange place. So, it was very
Well, he was like
difficult.
living in a campground because in his retirement he was traveling
That was
around the
Mike
Right.
Kozak.
country.
Mike
Yeah, it was
Kozak.
Mike
Sorry. Yes.
Kozak.
Yeah.
Sorry,
That's right.
Mike. I hope you're not listening because I'm embarrassed now. Mike Kozak
Yeah,
is a great guy. And he had, Dave Wilbur, who we've had on a number of times, worked with Mike and under Mike, as did Thomas Bastis and a whole bunch of great superintendents. And Mike is an icon. And I tell this story that I was at a golf course in Florida, and the superintendent says, "Yeah, I got this resume from some guy named Mike in California, and he's in Northern California, and he said it was a superintendent." I'm like, "Well, who is it? Let me see the resume." And he pulls it out, and he gives me Mike Kozak's resume, and I'm like, Mike Kozak is an icon in the industry. You have no idea who's coming to work for you, do you? And he got very nervous, thinking that, Mike's going to try to take his job. And then the best part of the story, and you guys have heard this, is that I'm sitting in his first time I'd been in the superintendent's office in Florida, and I'm sitting there, and all his crew guys walk in, and they're all wearing jumpsuits with their first name on it. I'm like, I'll give you $2,000 if you give me a picture of Mike Kozak in a jumpsuit with Mike on it. And
yes.
and Mike, Mike went there. They became best of friends. He was a great mentor. And we went down and played golf one day. And he comes up to me and goes, "Simmons, you really screwed me on this thing." So it was a beginning of a wonderful relationship. But that's my horrible stories for podcast experience. Anybody else want to share one while we're doing this?
Yeah,
Could have
I
three.
think at two of them, I was probably the most challenging was when Brent Downs and I did a co-interview. We kind of interviewed each other. He's got the Lowdown podcast. He's a superintendent in Indiana, and I was joking. I said, "Hey, in your experience, have you ever had any real serious technical difficulties?" He started to answer, and then his internet just went away. And I sat here and we were texting each other, and I sat here waiting for 25 minutes. So I had no idea when we picked up, where we left off time wise. I just kept recording. Poor Mike had all kinds of editing to do on that one. And then Ron Reed, retired USGA official,
That was a
the,
great podcast.
the guy that would announce all the players for the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
And I had him on, and he lives out in Carmel around Pebble Beach, and so he insisted on having the ocean backdrop as his backdrop during the
Very
interview.
cool.
But the internet would not stretch that far, and so he kept checking in and out. And I finally said, "Ron, we got to take it inside." So
Yeah, I
those are
think.
the two toughest ones.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Jack, you
Um,
do
I
outside
got
stuff.
Yeah, I got going outside and in person as soon as I could. And there was always some difficulty in setting that up and making sure that the garage band was recording the right way and that the tracks were right and everything like that, and you're sitting in a room in the clubhouse and making sure you're not in the way and this and that you're not going to get interrupted. But all good, all good. Usually have a pint of the black stuff and it takes the edge off. So,
By the black stuff, you're referring to Guinness, I assume.
of course,
Of
tis the
course.
season.
Just so everybody knows.
Yeah,
Right.
I think we get a little uptight about the setting and the sound and things like that. But at the end of the day, I mean, most of our listeners, it's just part of life for them. So
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
it's totally relatable if there's issue and
I love the live apps. I mean, it's not live,
yeah.
it's recorded live, but I don't know that we've ever really done any major editing. I mean, I can honestly say that, for 300 episodes, I don't think, Mike Small, who is our director of marketing and sets this all up for us. I don't know that he's ever done major other than maybe I should remember the one.
That's not true.
and now that comes to mind. Thank you, Kevin. So I'll tell the story. This was recorded at Christmas time, and it was it you and me, Kevin, or there was you and I were on the podcast, and I'm thinking of another one, but go ahead. I'm thinking so you know where I'm going now. So we did this podcast. And we did it here in my studio. And, now I know where you're going. And then you and I and Lisa Kiefer ended up going out to Ohio for Susan Shainer's retirement party. Yeah. And you were both downstairs in the hotel, and I come off the elevator, and you look at me and said, "Yeah, you're not going to be happy about this." So we had published the podcast, and I wasn't feeling well when we did it, but there was some technical issues, and there was me behind the microphone getting pretty pissed off about the
hot mic.
There might have been an F-bomb in that hot mic.
Yeah, there might have been an F-bomb.
It didn't get edited.
And luckily, who was it? Who actually called you?
I'm trying to think of who it was that. Oh,
it was. I know who it was from Colorado. It was.
It was Lance Lauer.
It was Lance Lauer. Right. It was Lance Lauer who's
also been a guest.
Who's been a guest and a great friend of ours. And Lance texted you and said, "Hey, you might want to take a look at this." So, and you told me about this. And as soon as you said it, I remembered, oh crap, I forgot to call Mike or tell Mike that we needed to do some editing. And there's a handful of F-bombs in there. And I immediately called him and I said, "Mike, you got to pull this off. You got to clean it up, and you got to
shut it down."
And I think there might have been a half a dozen guys that actually heard it, but we have some very loyal listeners that listen to it as soon as it gets broadcast. Apparently, Lance was one of those.
Yeah, it couldn't have been out more than 10 or 15 minutes.
Oh, it wasn't out more than 10 or 15 minutes. Yeah, but that was a good one. I've forgotten that. Yeah, we've had a lot of fun times here on the podcast.
I'm just remembering of a classic hot mic situation on New York news like a number of years ago. Remember Sue Simmons on the NBC4 News, and they go to commercial break, and she drops, while the camera pulls away, she's like, "What the F are you doing here?" And then they come back after commercial. Well, I have to address something that some of you might have heard.
Oops.
Yeah, exactly. Oh well,
there's a great old clip too of Bill O'Reilly doing the same thing, that "We'll Do It Live" one, where he just loses it on the air.
I've seen that.
We should put together Mike has these, but we should put together. I mean, Mike's favorite part is before we go live, before he's ready to edit in. And particularly me, he says. I tend to talk to my guests for a while, and then there's some classic things in there, but maybe one of these days we'll do that.
He should release like the footage of when the makeup person comes and puts the blush on your face, and then extra
spray. The makeup person right here. It's right there. It's makeup. Okay, makeup.
We'll call it the cutting room floor episode, right?
Right. Put the blush on the cheeks.
Exactly. or set the lights up. But yeah, it's pretty funny. But guys, I mean, I can't thank you enough. This has been truly a team effort. And yes, Jack, thank you for a great concept and an idea.
I'm really proud to be part of this triumvirate of it's a fun thing. I just want to say one thing about that. Like, I remember you saying a long time ago, Joel, like it was an initiative that you pushed on me, was like, we have a community. How do we define and represent and create a space for our community, for this EarthWorks community? And we kicked around different ideas, and there were Facebook group ideas and things like that. But I think what we've done here with the podcast and the YouTube channel has really established a place where the people in the EarthWorks community can come and great content and be a part of it. And that's kind of the most important part, is that everyone in the EarthWorks community can be a part of this. Get on the podcast with us.
Let us hang out. I mean, we'd love to have you on. Yeah. I mean, seriously, don't be afraid. It's actually quite fun. It goes by very quickly. And, it's funny because I've had a lot of folks come to me and say, I've been interviewing with this guy and I listened to your podcast and it helped me get the job. because they got to know the superintendent. So, or, I've had other superintendents say, I had a couple guys call me from the podcast saying, I'd love to work at your property. It sounds like a lot of fun. So there's a benefit.
Assistance for the EarthWorks podcast. Get on and listen.
Yeah. It's another way to network as well.
Well, some of the best listened podcasts are from of our hosts or of our guests are Armin, right?
Dave Wilbur,
Dave
Lawrence
Wilbur,
Mayhew,
Tyler.
Tyler. Yeah, Tyler's been on three or four times now. I'm not even sure, but he's a great guest. Yeah, we had him on before he was anybody, and now look at him. We've made his career. I keep telling him that. He doesn't believe me, but he's done a great job. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, fellas, and I'm very excited to do another 300. I think we can make that happen over the next years. Kevin, even if you retire, you can do a podcast every once in a while. You and I are.
Where's Kevin? Kevin's not going anywhere. Come on.
Kevin's going to sit here and podcast and tell people how to do construction.
Right.
All right, Kevin. But tell us, you broached it, but let's go through this real quick. Your guest on the 300th?
Yeah, Tom Walker, the superintendent at the Coeur d'Alene Resort. He was my assistant for 10 years and took over when I left. So he's been there, 9 as the superintendent now. So
wow,
should be good. We're going to talk about floating green construction.
Perfect.
That I was able to dodge.
Yeah, nice. Mission accomplished on that.
Yes.
Way to go.
Yes.
Jack?
Yes, and so we got Johnny on next week. Breaker. Come in, John. You're on the podcast. Let's go.
Does he know this? Does he know he's on? Have you talked to him yet?
He will.
He might. Yeah, that's what I thought. He might be in Mexico or something next week. I have a former student and a dear friend, John Reilly, down in Longboat Key, who's been on with us. And John is one of the greatest characters in the turf industry, and I'm really looking forward to it. So folks, please stick around for a little bit. We're going to break out into another set of 3 for our 300th episode, and please stay tuned for future episodes. I think we can make 600 episodes. What do you think, fellas?
Let's do it. I'm in.
So there you have it all. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for allowing us to get to 300 episodes. And if you haven't, please subscribe so we can let you know when the next 300 hits on the EarthWorks podcast. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. This is Joel Simmons, and we are live on the 300th episode. And I went way back to the coffers, and I found a very old friend of everybody in the golf industry, everybody's dear friend, Thomas Mitchell Morris. Thank you so much for joining us, old Tom. How the hell are you?
Hi. Hello, Joel. Joel Simmons. You're a mighty lad. 300th episode. That's great. I've got underwear that's 300 years old, you see. So this is a bit... Do people even listen to a podcast? What is a podcast? I mean, I'm back here from Devil's A-hole. I'm going to give you a little insight into what we used to do and how I see golf now.
So talk about your career. You were a pretty amazing man. You were generally the grandfather of greenkeeping. You won 2 or 4 U.S. Opens, lost the first one, not the U.S. Open, excuse me, the Open. I almost insulted you there, didn't I, Tom? I apologize.
You didn't even know America then.
What? Well, I think while you were there, we were in the middle of a civil war, weren't we?
Something like that.
So let's talk about your career, Tom. I mean, you've had some of the most incredible. I mean, I'm looking at Wikipedia notes on your career, and it's really impressive. I mean, what do you consider your greatest accomplishments?
We've got to set the record straight, Joe. See, the afterlife is a bit complex, more complex than you think. So
I bet. I'm sure.
The old Tom Morris that you all know and see in the statues, he's in heaven. You see. I'm dirty old Tom Morris. I'm the dark side of Tom. So I know what we did to get where we got. But you're only going to get the dark side, the guy who lived in the Devil's A-hole. You see what I'm saying?
I see.
I won 4 Open championships. I was the sire of the greatest player, young Tom Morris. I also did everything that needed to be done about golf. So from greenskeeping, whatever you guys call that, to building clubs, to creating new technology, to all of this stuff. But I love the game, and all of the things flowed out of that. So I couldn't wait to do the next thing, the next thing, the next team. You know what I'm saying, Joe? Like you do, right? The next team.
Yeah, everything. You've been the innovator of
With
golf.
everything. You know, it wasn't as segmented as it is now, you see. So everybody did everything, but no one did it as well as I or the young Tom.
Well, look at all the things.
Time.
I mean, there's nobody in today's golf world that has done as many things as you do. I mean, it's amazing that you were able to be a greenskeeper. You were building clubs, balls. Some of the best architecture in the world is because of you.
Right. And one of the funniest jokes that came out of the old days, they still use it now. If they could have stuck a broom up my horse, I would have swept the clubhouse as well.
Did they ever try?
I was there for everything. I did it all.
You did do it all.
90 hours a week, and then played some golf. And the rich guys made all the feckin' money, you see. But no bad thoughts. No bad thoughts.
I understand. No, we understand.
Wouldn't change a thing.
And that hasn't changed, by the way.
I'm responsible for something that people do every day now, and that's top dressing. And using mowers. I mean, that stuff that was never even done back then. I figured that all out.
Why would you come up with top dressing, or how did you come up with top dressing?
I couldn't grow a blade of grass, you see, so they couldn't see, Right. Those old codgers, they would grow, or the rabbits, or anything, kill the grass. I mean, we played all year round. Sometimes the snow, this and that. And that's where I got the idea from, the snow.
Ah, brilliant.
I saw the snow kind of cover up all the imperfections. So we were right there on the beach, so I used the sand.
So you're just pulling sand out of the beach and throwing it all over your golf course.
Right. To make it look like I knew what I was doing, Joe. So I was just winging it.
Some things have never changed, have they?
No, never.
Yeah. Nowadays, there's people that don't even top dress. I mean, it's kind of sad, I guess.
I think it's an abomination. I mean, they must be able to grow grass and then have good surfaces. Why wouldn't they top dress, Joe? That's just for the feckers who don't know how to do it. You know what I mean?
I can imagine. Have you had a chance to see modern golf these days? I mean, have you been able to experience what golf looks like now?
It's really an interesting thing that you bring up, Joe. So we have cable, streaming, all that stuff in hell. I mean, it's great. It's
you do. Oh, so I didn't know that.
TGL. What is this stuff? They play inside on some fucking screen or something. They hit off turf in a pot. I mean, what is this?
Yeah, we don't have
like 6 seconds, but the boys hit it a long way. I know young Tom was the first one to put the backspin on it because of the gutty parter that I came up with.
Because of your ball.
Technology is important, Joe. It's important, but where are we going to have the land? What are we going to do if we keep hitting it 9 million miles? The fun of the game, the rub of the green, it's all out. I mean, we started to take care of the bunkers, but now they spend more money on bunkers than greens, and then they're doing construction. It's insanity, Joe. It's insanity. Let's get back to the way the game was. They kept us out there having a drink and away from our wives. That's what it was, Joe.
That's what it is now.
Kick around with the boys and spend a little extra change. Now it's got to be perfect. It's going to have metrics. What's this monkey guy? I see him all the time.
Oh, he doesn't top dress.
Yes, man. Just have some little short grass, a hole in the ground, and start with a tee. That's it.
Yeah.
We even use sand for tees, Joe. What is a wooden thing? And plastic and graphite and steel. Where did we go wrong, Joe?
You tell me, Tom. I mean, this is your industry. I mean, you built this thing. I mean, what happened?
I did. I started it. Sometimes I feel bad about it, but then I just make fun of somebody else,
Yeah, why not? Do you have any idea how much greenskeepers are making these days?
A few pounds, I'd imagine, right?
A few pounds, exactly. That's what they were doing. Right. It's about what you were making.
They even go out of their office, those pricks. I mean, they got robots, they got people, they look at the computer screen. I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, some of it's getting worse and worse.
They're probably putting on some pounds too, because they never go out and work, do they?
No, not they're. It's easy to get them in their office. They're just you call and they walk in and they're always sitting there. I don't get it.
I didn't have time to walk. And anyway, if I
did you even have an office?
In the broom, you know what I'm saying? What's that?
Did you even have an office?
back in the outside was me office, Joe.
Yeah, I was going to say that was your office.
Outside, away from Mrs. Old Town Matters.
Yeah, well, that hasn't changed much there, Tom. That's still going on. So what was your greatest accomplishment as a greenskeeper? What do you think was the most important thing that you ever brought to the table?
I stayed employed. I think that's the most important thing, because you got to take care of your family. You know, if you keep popping out to children. I mean, I had a young son. He's disabled. But I think what we did was we made the game popular and we made it playable. And I think those facets are still the same, Joe. You know, this is not as much fun as me making fun of people, but you know, I'm telling you the truth. It's all about playability, right? So back in the day with the game and not losing the ball and being able to keep people from spending a ton of money so they could come out and gamble instead or drink a. I mean, I came up with 18 holes because that's how many shots of scotch was in the bottle. See, that's what it was. That's the only reason.
Is that how that came about?
I don't know if that's greenskeeping, but that's how I came up with it. 18 holes. I would design a course in the morning and shoot the course record in the afternoon. I mean, that's stuff.
that's amazing.
Now they're spending $120 million and taking 3 years to come up with a golf course. What is this, Joe?
Yeah. Yeah, what do you think of these modern architects? I mean, look at what all they're involved in, and
it's amazing. You know, I remember when they got so crazy with the construction and the AutoCAD, and then the minimalists came around. You know what that was? That was what we used to do, right?
Yeah.
But you can't get the architects, just let you know, have big egos.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
So they couldn't stick with just being minimal. No. They got a sand cap, and now they're mimicalism. You know, they have a giant bunker. You need a rope to get down in the fucking thing. You know what I'm saying, Joe?
Yes, you do.
What do we need for that? You know, just a little pop bunker is perfect in the middle of your travels to the green. That's where the beauty of the game is. We lost the beauty of the game chasing the drone. Drones don't play golf, Joe. Joe Simmons, that's your name.
That's my name, yeah.
100th episode, that's a great thing.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it?
What do you do, Joe? What's your role in the game?
Well, I was going to ask you that. What I do is I've gone backwards and I sell chicken shit to golf course superintendents. What was your fertilizer of choice?
You chase the chicken shit? Well, we used the seaweed. You chase the seaweed around with the bag, do you?
Yeah.
We used horse shit. I told a lot of horse shit, and then we used the seaweed.
Yeah,
that was also one of my innovations. Yeah.
Oh,
but I like to take a swim. You see, and we come on, get covered in the seaweed. So I just put it on the grass by accident, just like top dressing, and it worked.
That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant.
Seaweed, Joe? Do you?
Oh, I love seaweed. It's probably my favorite amendment. Yeah,
right. But natural. That's the key. You follow the sheep around. Hopefully you don't do anything unnatural.
Yeah, let's not go there, Tom.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, let's not go there.
Hey, look, we didn't have streaming services back then.
I heard that. Yeah.
Listen, so where it goes.
So did you guys?
You don't hear that from old Tom in heaven. You'll hear that from Darty. The real Tom Myers.
I couldn't get old Tom.
You understand me, Joe? Do you?
Yeah. Old Tom in heaven wasn't available, so we had to get you.
Right, they could make a statue and all this other crap. You know what I'm saying? I'm the real thing. I'm the guy inside. We're all the dark side. You understand?
What are you holding there?
I got me some. This is how we carry our clubs. These guys have figured out a bag. That's pretty good. But we would.
Oh yeah, we've had bags forever now.
We'll look like we were shooting an arrow. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so I got like that. One of my favorite clubs. Then I do like new technology, so I'm an Odyssey guy.
There you go. Good.
I got a sponsor, you see. We gotta make a little.
I didn't know that.
Even in hell, you gotta make a little money.
It probably goes a long way.
It's hot down there. You gotta pay for your AC. You know what I'm saying, Joe?
Can you get ice cubes? I don't even know. Or what do you put in your bourbon?
I drink it straight.
Yeah, of course.
Why write the taste?
Yeah, exactly.
But if I did, it would be a round gutty parcha ice cube. See what I'm saying?
Perfect.
Cube. Yes. That would be good in a nice block glass, you see.
Yeah. Have you seen the new technology golf balls, by the way?
Oh, I heard they're peeling them back now. They're peeling them back, whatever that fucking.
I don't know. I don't know what that means either.
They got dimples. I was the first man to come up with dimples. if
you came up with dimples?
If you think back, Joe, everything that has to do with golf comes from dirty old Tom.
Yeah.
Dirty old Tom. But my
So
favorite thing was being a greenskeeper, which you guys call superintendents. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Oneness with the land, and of course, being away from Mrs. Old Tom.
Mrs. Old Tom Morris. Yeah.
Yes, that was really the reason. We all have to have some form of inspiration.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that was your inspiration.
What's that?
That was your inspiration, just to get the hell out of the house.
Yes. Yeah. Motivation, inspiration, all of it. Yes.
So
she was a lovely woman. She was a lovely woman. I heard she was.
I've heard that too, actually. Yes, we've all heard that. So how do the clubs differ from back in your day? I mean, they're pretty different now. I mean, you've got is that an old Persimmons club in your hand?
Oh yes, this is one of my finest. You see.
Yeah. So all your clubs back then were
time and art, and what do they do now, Joe? AI. They build them. They build them in a 3D printer.
Wow.
There's no soul in that. This came from the earth, a persimmon tree. You see what I'm saying?
Blood. Yeah.
We laid it out, we laminated it, we worked it like the land. You know what I'm saying, Joe? So everything was about the connection to the game. And I think with the clubs and the people that dress, I mean, what are these boys wearing? Jumpers. Yeah. They wear jumpers. These kids. Jumpers. What is that? And hoodies.
Yeah.
What are they, gangsters? I mean, what happened to the game, Joe?
Yeah.
And they play inside.
Pants. They wear stretchy pants. It's really kind of interesting.
Stretchy pants, yes.
Yeah.
They'll be Mr. Stretchy Pants and puffy jackets. Yes.
And puffy jackets. That's what they wear.
And even mittens. You know what I mean? My young son passed away playing in the cold weather.
Yeah.
We didn't have mittens. What is that?
All
we had was a bottle of scotch.
That kept you warm.
Oh, it did. It was a false warm.
Yeah, well, that's okay. You only carried.
Now I'm very warm. You see where I live, I'm very there.
Oh yeah, I can imagine that. Well, of course, and only fittingly, of course. You only carried 3 clubs with you when you played in the Opens. How many?
That's all you need. That's all you need. You need one for the long shot, one for the medium shot, and one for the putt.
There you go. Where did you put the bottle of scotch, though? I mean, that's you don't have a golf bag.
That's an interesting point. But you got many pockets in me jacket.
Gotcha. Yes. So you're wearing the jacket, of course, on the course back in the day. Yeah, we don't wear jackets playing golf anymore. It's just not.
No, I don't quite understand the restriction. You need to hit the ball perfectly with the persimmon club. You need to have some restriction on your shot.
Yeah.
These young lads take a big, mighty lash at it. You know what I mean?
Yes, they do. Well, they're big and strong,
They're big and they're strong, and they do the workout. What is workout? How about you work? That's pretty good.
So what was the first Open like? I mean, you participated, you came in second. What was it like back in the day?
What it was. See, it would have been it was a bad break. I got a stymie, you see what I'm saying, Joe? But it was my brainchild to get the golfers together, to get the guys who worked on the course, to get them some esteem for the rich people we worked for. So we put a little game together, and they came and they watched. I mean, those daft fuckers, they came and watched anyway. So it was good.
Yeah.
And then I realized I got to win, because I might be losing a bit of weight, so I needed a belt. So I went 4 times so I could get belts.
That's why. Okay.
We only got to keep it for the year, you see. Yeah. So that was your motivation to keep winning.
Keep your pants up.
My young son won it 4 times in a row. That was a rule we came up with because we never thought anyone could do it. And he got to keep the belt, and that's where the Clark joke came from. See?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Looked about the room and said, "What are we going to do now?" And then someone said, "Well, this has got no more whiskey in it." So we took the jug and
we used it. We don't need it anymore, right?
We banged it over his daft head. We did. Then we gave it to him.
Oh, perfect.
We used to have quite the parties, Joe.
I can imagine how
wee hours of the night we did playing golf all day, sometimes 4 rounds in a day.
Wow.
The sun never goes down in Scotland.
No, of course not. So you can play all day.
Never goes down.
So how do you
all day? That was it. It was not just the score; it was the ability to get about the course many times over.
Yeah. Yeah, that has to be an incredible experience, though, having been in the first Open and experienced all those years. I read this. I don't know if you remember this, but you held the record for the largest margin of victory in the major champion at 13 strokes until Tiger Woods came along. So how do you feel about a young Tiger Woods coming along and breaking
That's just
record?
complete on that, Joe. I had a fucking eraser, you see. I also invented the eraser.
Oh, did you?
My score was much better than I played, you see.
You
gotta do is
cheated in the other direction just to make it.
Maybe. I'm just saying, maybe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. You invented the eraser. I love that. That is lovely.
Anything you've ever used or will use all came from Old Town, dirty Old Town.
Yeah.
Don't get it confused with the guy in the statue.
Oh, no, that statue is bogus, I would assume, right? I mean, dirty Old Town.
Certainly. I think people don't give me enough credit for photography. I mean, who could pose like old Tom Morris? I mean, you got to have an aura, Joe. Speaking of Tiger Woods, I mean, when he walks in the room, the women, they faint, and the men, they can't wait to see him. So that's the aura that old Tom Morris had, and that came from dirty Old Tom.
So that was your life. Women would just fawn all over you at the time. I mean, you must have been a hero.
I'm a proper gentleman, you see. So
I see that.
Telling you that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yes, dirty Old Tom. I could see that.
Yes.
Well,
Mrs.
sir,
Dirty Old Tom might be in the other room. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he could be anywhere at this day and age. So let me end on this. I mean, you've seen some of the modern golf nowadays. It's clearly radically different. Is there anything that you think is a good innovation in our modern golf world that you might wish you had, like a deep tine or a wet jet or something like that? I mean, anything that would have really helped you out?
I think anything that gives the golf to the golfers and keeps us away from taking a chunk out of it while they're trying to play, So yeah, I like the wet jet. I like the dry jet. I don't disagree with the people who don't top dress anymore.
No.
There's a time to grow grass.
Yeah.
And there's a time to take care of grass, and we need to understand that. So,
and look at all the funny grass types we have too. I mean, look at that. I got this weird
the breeding of grass.
Oh, yeah.
How boring could that be? I like breeding, but not breeding grass. I mean, come on now. What are we doing?
Yeah. I mean, what was your grass at the time? I mean, do you even know?
Anything that was fucking green side up, we used. Yes, we did.
Wow.
What's this rough and triple cuts and all kinds of different? I mean, it's insane. It's really insane.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in the new world. I hope you can sit around and really watch this, because changes are coming. I mean, people are coming up with new inventions all the time. Like you said, we got robots. We got robots in bunkers now. We got things flying in the sky. I mean, it's got to be pretty strange to an old man like you.
It is. As long as we can stay connected to the earth, Joe, that's the key.
There you go.
These things can be tools, but they can't be the means to the end. You understand?
I got that.
The game is the game.
The game.
Right.
Tom.
That's what we're looking for. The essence of the game.
Right. The beauty of walking.
Feeling very philosophical on your tree.
Yes, you are being very philosophical.
I like to have a bit of fun, but I got a bit of philosophical. I don't know.
That's good. That's good. I think that's
maybe so early in the morning or something.
That's probably what it is. Yeah, you're probably.
I haven't had a wee dram.
Probably have a little left over.
A little more fun, Yeah.
Well, how about if we get together late afternoon after a couple rounds and share a couple pints? How about that?
Aye, lad. Now you're talking.
Tom, I can't thank you enough. You are one of my greatest heroes of all time, and I can't thank you enough for joining us on our 300th episode of the EarthWorks podcast.
As you should be. I am one of the greatest heroes of all time.
Of all time. Without a doubt.
When it comes to game.
And comes to almost anything.
Yes. Take a mean picture.
Yes.
Thank you, Joe.
And you make a great
all the best to you. I hope you have 3,000 more shows, whatever these things are.
I doubt that, but I might. I don't know if I can get 300-year-old underwear. I mean, that might work. It could be good.
Yes. You just jump right in. They're nice and stiff. You just jump right in.
Oh, perfect. Thank you for that ending thought, Tom.
Yes. We need to leave you with the vision.
Yes, now you have. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
dirty, Old Tom, as in dirt. You know what I mean, Joe? You're a soil guy. You get that dirty.
Oh, that's very good connection. I like the way you pulled that in there. That was very well done. Yes, perfect. Thank you, Tom.
Bye now.
Hey, everybody. This is my part of the 300th episode celebration. I thought, what better thing to do since I've been talking about a lot of construction lately on some little short clips and stuff other than to have my former assistant, now superintendent at the Coeur d'Alene Resort, to talk about something that I always dreaded that didn't happen until just after I left. And he got the distinct pleasure of rebuilding the floating green, the world famous floating green. So thanks for coming on, Tom. I just want to talk a little bit about the logistics and kind of what you guys went through. Obviously, the season goes from April until October, so nothing started until the weather basically falls apart on you. So thanks for coming on, and let's start with kind of the maybe a little bit of the structure of it and what's involved. Where obviously the construction didn't take place in its normal location. So, talk about how all of that stuff happened.
Yeah. So, thanks for having me on first off. It's always a pleasure being with Kevin Hicks. So I appreciate it. Yeah, quite an interesting project. The way it's constructed, and Kevin, you probably know better than I do, to be honest with you, but it's basically, concrete. They call them concrete coffins. They're almost like ecology blocks that are filled with foam.
Right.
And they originally kind of pieced it together with Legos when they were designing it. And that's basically the ship, the
barge.
the floor, the barge system of the floating green. And from that, everything is built up from there. So the whole idea and the goal with the remodel, kind of a unique one, we didn't really want to change anything. We just wanted to reduce the weight. So
right.
The original weight when it was built was right around 4.5 million pounds, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like myself, over the years, you kind of put on a couple extra pounds.
Yeah.
And at the time that we renovated it, it was about 5.5 million. And the big thing is the buoyancy of it. With 1 million extra pounds, you start, kind of getting to where you're worried that, water coming over the top of that concrete and waves and stuff like that, there's a potential that it sinks into the Lake Coeur d'Alene, and certainly not something that we want to see happen. So the number one goal was weight reduction.
Yeah.
It started with, we closed down the old golf course, and the first thing we did was we basically moved it 3 miles across the lake. We had three barges that basically pushed the thing over to a marina kind of on the other side of the lake from us, to where the logistics of getting things to and from the green were a lot easier from that point than where we were. So that was the first challenge, and kind of the guys who were doing the move, obviously they weren't too worried about it, but as you know, Kevin, as soon as that floating green is cut loose from the cables, it's kind of a nerve-wracking thing. It's probably the thing that keeps me up most at night, is the floating green just somehow drifting away. So that was the first kind of the hurdle to everything. And so they were able to get that done, unhook the cables, fasten it all to the barges, and get it moved into place literally within like 6 hours. It was pretty amazing how easy it was. From there, they kind of just moored it in we call it kind of Cougar Bay is kind of the area where it's at, but good protected bay right there, right by the marina. And
yeah,
it
wasn't docked, it was moored still, so it wasn't like it was up on shore, because it, just like any boat, it draws a certain amount of water, so you can't get it too close to shore.
Exactly. Yeah, I think I believe it draws about 7 feet of water, is about what it is. So it floated the whole time. Obviously, there's a few interesting things about the floating green. It has an umbilical cord, so we catch all the water that goes onto the green, and it all gets pumped back to shore with the 4-inch, we call it an umbilical cord, but it literally runs from the green all the way back to shore.
Yep.
So everything pumped back to shore. So disconnecting that and then reconnecting that when we got over to where we could pump it into basically containers that would, we'd capture everything throughout the process, which is
really?
kind of a weird thing. But a lot of little details that went into it that, as I was telling Kevin earlier, I don't know that I can remember most of them, but
Right.
Once we got it over there, my staff, our first thing we did was remove all the sod. So we literally just go through with the sod cutter and cut every square inch of sod off of that. I think it's a 1,500 square foot vessel, the floating green.
15,000.
So 15,000, excuse
Yeah.
me. So we removed all the sod off of that. And then we had a barge with a ramp that basically just tied off to the front of the green. And we were able to get a workman out there and maniacs out there and little dingoes out there. And that was kind of how we removed the sod. We sod cut it and remove it, just throw it in the back of a workman and drive it onto the barge and dump it. And that's how we removed all the sod. From there, we had the goal was to remove all the soil. We ended up having a guy who was working out at Hayden Lake Country Club by the name of Jose Vivo. They have a team that's been doing a lot of work out there, and we were lucky enough to have him and a couple of his guys come and help us with the removal of the soil. And that without them, I don't know, man, it would have been a nightmare. But
so when you say remove all the soil, was the goal to get back down all the way back down to the liner, or remove as much as you could without getting into that?
Yeah. So, kind of both, I guess. On the green surface itself, the goal was to remove 8 inches. So we started with 20 inches after the buildup over the years. So removing 8 inches to get back down to kind of our 12-inch USDA spec. On everything outside of the green surface, we removed it all the way down to the liner.
Okay.
And so the goal with that was we were going to pull all the soil off there, add more foam, and bring back less soil. We did a lot of probing throughout the process and kind of seeing where depths were and everything. So the green especially had a lot of buildup, but even in the rough, there was areas where there's 12 inches of soil where we thought, hey, let's come back in there with maybe 8 inches of soil. Sure. What was the idea? Throughout the whole process, obviously, to add more foam, which is underneath the liner that captures everything, we took up the old liner to add the foam. So anywhere outside of the green, we went all the way down to the actual foam.
Got it.
That builds up what is the floating green. So, Jose and his team, kind of opened my eyes. Not doing a whole lot of renovations out at the resort. I always say, like, I tore more liner with a shovel than they did with a mini X. It was amazing.
Pretty typical of a qualified guy, right?
Oh my gosh. I mean, having somebody who knows what they're doing on those things, I mean, it's a game changer for sure. So they're literally going through and scraping that, basically a pond liner, and not tearing a thing and getting all that soil out. And, I mean, they were able to remove all the soil that needed to be removed within 2 days. And once again, it's a mini X bucket into the back of workmen's, driving those workmen's across the green onto the barge, dumping, load after load after load. And so once we were able to get all the soil off, the green down to, our 12 inches that we were looking for, our number one goal at that point in time was to reshape the green to how it needed to be, get it floated, and I wanted to get it sodded. We closed kind of end of November, and I was hoping to have it sodded by, first week of November. As you know, Kevin,
that could sometimes
Yeah, you just don't know what the North Idaho winter is going to bring. So, and there's not a temporary green for the floating green. That's the other thing that made me nervous. Like, we were playing that green regardless of how it was. So you better make sure you can get it sodded and get it growing as fast as you can anyway. So, but Jose, they were able to get it shaped kind of maybe early November. And from there we had Desert Green Turf come in with big rolls and resodded it with T1. Okay. This is just the bent grass putting green surface of it and a collar. And so I think we ended up doing that like November 5th might have been the day.
We need to back up. This was this 23 fall of 23 or 22?
No, that's 2018.
So it was right after I left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
but we're still talking about almost 30 years worth of accumulation of top dressing and adding to the flower beds and that kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And we were able to get it sodded kind of that first week in November. And once again, you think about how you do that, right? I mean, it's you loading, craning big rolls of sod onto a barge, and then craning a, big roll machine onto a barge and then running that off. And it's just nothing about it is
nothing's easy.
Yeah, it's just a nightmare, to be honest with you. So, but we were able to get it sodded, and got a top dress, put a cover on it, did anything we could to kind of establish some roots in that first little bit there. Fortunately, we were very fortunate with the weather we had that whole winter. 2018 was very much like this year, where we had very little snow throughout November, December, January, and February was a different story, which we'll get to eventually. But we were very, very, very lucky. So we actually, got quite a few roots pushing down before it kind of cooled off, and what ended up being late January to where actually, really, I would say went dormant at that point in time. But so once we were done with the green, that was kind of a big part of like what we did, myself and my team. We were kind of in charge of that portion of it. And from there, we kind of stepped aside and facilitated contractors doing a lot of this stuff from there. But after that, we go through and we cut out all the liner, remove that. We started removing foam, there was a lot of stuff in the mechanical room that needed to be redone from water damage and stuff, as far as trusses over the years.
Sure.
Where we might have had a leak in a liner. It's kind of funny. We had one small leak that was over the mechanical room, the winch room. And when we were digging out the soil, aerification times ended up being the cause of it over the years. So,
really?
Yeah, I would say most of the soil was, a foot deep in a lot of areas, but there was one little room, the roof of it, it was only about 4 inches deep there. So anytime we went and punched the rough, we were creating a little damage to the liner there. So it's kind of interesting. As soon as you saw it, you knew exactly, oh, darn it, that's self-inflicted there.
That was us.
But, yeah.
Were you concerned at all about kind of the architectural, the design integrity? Was it basically get back down to the original 12 inches and just trust that was kind of the way it was originally built?
Yeah. And thankfully we had Scott Miller, who originally designed it. He came up and he was awesome. He did a great job helping us out with the project and everything. And so he was, when we were shaping it, he's right there. And the one thing that when you're going throughout this too, a lot of the rough is on the back half of the green. So that was one thing that was interesting about when we were shaping it. you know, when you took all the soil off, it changed the way the green drained, right? So now the back half is lighter than the front half. So one thing that you got to be aware of, and we kind of learned a little bit the hard way, is as soon as you put the soil back on the back of it, you know, you're adding a lot of weight, and now you're kind of tipping that drainage. So we ended up, you know, getting everything kind of perfect, and then we thought, oh, hold on. We're going to have to shave a little bit more off the front, so we make sure that we're actually flowing once we add soil and the trees and everything else back onto the back half of the green, which, I mean, once again, nothing that you're ever going to run into outside of the floating green.
It's not in the handbook, is it?
No. And there's a lot of those things that, you know, we kind of had to redo along the way. Unfortunately.
What about irrigation? Was there much of a concern with that, as far as, you know, as you're hogging all that material out? Are you reworking irrigation at the same time?
Yeah, we went through and redid every piece of irrigation on the green. That was one thing that was a little bit tough. You know, I can't remember what a Toro head, or excuse me, a Rainbird head is. Rainbird 700 might be like 10-12 inches tall or something, and we're trying to only go back with 6 inches of soil.
Right.
There was, wherever we placed the head, we had to strategically cut out basically foam, kind of a square to fit that down into.
Interesting.
To make it right. And so there was a lot of stuff like that, but nice thing is, you know, you take it all back down to the liner, and once you started putting it back on, you literally just laying PVC and poly right on top of something, and then you just cover it back up with soil. It wasn't the irrigation part of it. That actually was probably the easiest. You know, you're not doing any digging or anything like that.
No trenching involved,
for you. So that part was kind of nice.
So was there an original goal of, as far as how much you wanted to bring the water level, if you will, up? Was it just an arbitrary number, or that looks good?
Yeah, I mean, they wanted to get it back to that original 4.5 million pounds. So, and we just kind of, from taking measurements, you know, we thought, well, we could pretty much just do that with just soil. When you're talking about, I think we ended up taking off 350 cubic yards of soil, which is somewhere near 1 million, if I remember. It might be a little bit shy of it, depending on the material and all that stuff, obviously. But, you know, the decking around it, we changed kind of dimensions of that, dropped a little bit of weight there. And trees, obviously, we went from, you know, 30-foot giant trees to, you know, 16-foot spruce trees, and it's amazing how much weight you lose just doing that.
No kidding. Yeah. And you and I might be a few of the only guys that know that those things are just potted plants, and they get plucked out every 5 to 10 years and replaced with something smaller, not only to keep the scale, but just that weight concern is certainly something that we're always thinking about.
Yeah. So those ones, we replanted those on would have been the spring of 19. A couple weeks before we opened, we put new trees on that, and then this last fall we just redid it again. So these ones made it, what, 6 years, I guess. And so this time we went with some alpine firs, and hopefully they grow a little bit slower, and maybe get 10 out of it, because once again, not a fun process whatsoever.
It's a lot more fun after the first one that we did together, when we didn't realize that they were strapped into the planter boxes, and we're basically trying to lift instead of just lift the plants out, we were trying to lift the whole green off the surface of the water. Interesting. So weather cooperated. You probably don't want to talk about the cost. We don't need to go there, but I'm sure it's, you know, I could still remember the owner and the developer of the golf course and the resort saying that if he knew what it was going to cost him, he never would have built it. But if he knew the notoriety it would have gained for the resort, he would have built 3 of them. It would have been nice to have a second one just to kind of swap out when you were doing the work. But so it's a non-negotiable as far as, well, we need to rebuild this thing. So
Yeah, and I think as we kind of were going through a couple preliminary meetings going into it, Mr. Hagedon, he was in a couple of those, and he said the same thing. If I had known how much it would have cost originally, I would have never done it. And it ended up costing more the second time just renovating it than it did originally build it. So it's kind of a weird thing to think about. You spend all that money and the goal is you're basically putting it back to look exactly like it was.
Yeah.
It's you don't really see you don't really see where that one all that money spent,
the ROI. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the ROI is that if it ends up sinking because it's overweight, you're not gonna be able to open the golf course. And yeah, that's interesting. I never saw the actual receipt for the original construction back in the late 80s, but I was told that it was basically about the equivalent of the cost of a complete golf course construction at the time, at that time. So, you can imagine what that was, but certainly worth the effort in the long run. Well, that's kind of we could get into a lot more detail, but those are the things I wanted to kind of get out of you for this one. But I'll give you 60 seconds to pump up your Seahawks before we hang up here, because I know you're as big a Seahawks fan as there is, and a pretty good year for you guys this year, right?
Oh man, I tell you what, I'm not gonna get too crazy, but
you? My wife and I actually were talking about you last night and your family, because your whole family, including extended family, this is a family affair. Are you thinking about putting a bid in on the team now that they're up for sale?
Well, I'll have to talk to our owners to see if maybe they'll kick in a little bit too to help with that. But yeah, no, I don't know that we'll be able to.
I'm hearing 8 to 10 billion, something like that.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. We'll see. But yeah, good to be able to beat the 49ers and the Rams, and then kind of get a little redemption against the Patriots. It's 3 of my most hated teams, so that was a good way to kind of end the year. For sure.
Sorry, Zach Bauer, about your Patriots, but had to be said. So. Well, cool. Yes, I just a little quick conversation. Maybe we can kind of expand on it at some point in the future, but just wanted to put this together for Jack and Joel are going to both have a little clip of some other guys as well. So much appreciated, and I'm still glad I didn't have to participate in that. I know you were pulling what hair you have left out during that process, because it was you can't screw it up. You got one shot at it. I always joke that there's no floating greens for dummy when it comes to maintenance and operation of that thing, and there's certainly been a lot of crazy stories through the years. So good stuff, Tom. Thanks so much, and appreciate all you did when we worked together, and you've carried the torch very well.
Well, I appreciate you having me, and I learned from a pretty good one, so I appreciate everything, Kev.
Mark is pretty good. He's not too bad. Long time guy. All right,
yes,
Tom,
sir.
Thanks so much, and thanks everybody for listening.
All right, thank you.
You're 300 of these. 300 episodes. So
that's right.
You and Kevin Hicks. Kevin's got it down too.
Yeah. All right, we're doing the talk, my man. Here we are.
Let's get it on.
Let's get it on. So yes, everybody, we're sitting down with my old buddy, my old boss, John Chassard. Johnny.
Jacko.
Johnny. Come in, John. Will you be on the podcast?
Absolutely.
Yeah, big celebration, 300 episodes.
That's crazy. Good for you guys, man. It's hard. It really is hard to imagine that it's come this far.
We've kept it up.
It's good,
and people still listen, which is wonderful.
Yeah,
it's fun. We have a good time. And what I wanted to chat with you about, particularly because the last time you were on, I know that we talked off camera about it, but we didn't talk on camera. You're hosting an event here.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't official at the time. So the announcement hadn't been made, but yeah, we are committed. Lehigh is committed to hosting the Champions Tour event. So it is the Lehigh Valley Jefferson Classic. So Jefferson Health out of Philadelphia bought Lehigh Valley Health Network. And so it's a huge medical group now.
Right.
And they wanted to do something in the Lehigh Valley to bring, attention to that.
Perfect.
And I never knew this, but the Lehigh Valley Health Network has like 40 hospitals all up through this. I mean, all up through the Poconos,
they do.
You see them.
I see them. I see them everywhere I travel,
and with St. Luke's as well.
Exactly, and they're together.
When you see a Lehigh Valley one, you see St. Luke's, or if you see a St. Luke's, Lehigh Valley pops up. So it's a really, really growing network. Jefferson picked them up. They wanted to do this event to bring,
which makes them a teaching hospital for Thomas Jefferson for medical school.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that you get those residents here. I know because my brother-in-law looked at this as an option.
Yeah, I think Jefferson alone has like 60,000 employees.
That's nuts.
It is kind of crazy the magnitude of it. But yeah, so they asked us if we'd be interested in doing a Champions Tour event, and it's near the end of their season, so which is their Schwab Cup is their deal. So yeah,
so there's some weight on the event, like they're trying to build points.
Yeah, so the guys that are in contention will need to show up. Awesome. So it's kind of cool, and there's some big names coming into it, and everybody keeps floating Tiger's name around. That's still playing the Masters, and even
he's over 50.
He just turned 50.
Okay.
So I don't know.
And you have a commitment for a couple years of this?
We're in for 5 years.
Oh, so within the 5 years,
it's very likely that that he'll be playing at some point.
And who wouldn't want to come out to play this gem of a golf course?
Well, of course, I'm biased, but yeah. No, I mean, I think it's really good for the club. I mean, Saucon Valley's right over the hill, and we've always been in the shadow of Saucon, and the USGA hosting many events there. I mean, we had a shot at the Ladies Open back in the 90s where I was working with Tim Morgan, their agronomist at the time.
Oh, wow.
And we literally brought the USGA Ladies Committee out here to talk through it. And I mean, we talked about, staging,
sure,
bleachers, the whole deal.
Sure.
And then Mike Davis of the USGA at the time he was a member at Saucon, and he was like, why would we do this at Lehigh when we've already been to the dance for Saucon? And it makes a lot of sense.
It's infrastructure, it's space.
Yeah, I think
now, you've done a lot of that work since the 90s.
Yeah,
opening this place up.
But you understand why they would make that decision. And it was too close to Saucon to not consider Saucon when it's already worked there.
Right.
So, and then I think that's pretty much when they became interested in the idea of going to Lancaster.
I kind of had that in my head.
Yeah.
If you said, because Lancaster is, of course, another Flynn, and now they've done two women's opens there.
Terry was still at Saucon when they hosted the first one. I think Jim came in shortly after that. And then Josh hosted the ladies 2-3 years ago, something like that.
24, and Todd hosting it, I think in 16.
Yeah, maybe somewhere around there. But anyhow,
so there you go.
So we're we're set up.
Well, I love the time of year for you.
Me too.
September here. You can be real firm and get that POA.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't rain, we'll be in great shape. Golf course should really show itself well. Start getting some color in the leaves. Cool. Lower sun angles. So the golf course, from a staging perspective, set up beautifully.
Yeah, absolutely. Will there be a lot of tents and that sort of thing? Where does that go?
Yes. Most of the hospitality is sold out.
Great.
So we have staging all around the 18th green, around the 9th green.
Cool.
The 16th hole, the par 3, is going to be very staged up. And then they're talking about an observation deck at like the 4th tee, the top of the 11th hill there. So right where we have our eagle's nest.
Oh,
so they're thinking,
you have a bald eagle's nest there?
Yeah, we do.
All right.
So they're thinking of maybe tying that into, maybe selling that off as well. Or that might just be something that will be open for the public. You know, I think they're trying
to build a tower and have a deck.
Yeah, they'll have a deck, and I think they're trying to get a beer sponsor, you know, to be able to sponsor that.
Makes sense, right? I would think.
Supposedly that's in the works. So
makes sense.
Yeah. I know they did talk to Dick Yingling, and they definitely want to be involved to some capacity. So we'll see how all that works out.
Oh, that's cool.
But no, it's exciting. So, you know, the 19th hole, we have that bye hole that's right, you know, in front of the clubhouse down there. So that's going to be all hospitality and corporate setup and stuff. And yeah, so I mean, the place sets up really well for it. Really does.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think it's would be a good golf course for the seniors. They're not really asking. So far they haven't really asked much of us, you know,
in terms of moving tees.
Yeah, so 6,800 yards seems to be the magic number for them. They don't want the golf course too hard. They don't want the rough up. They don't want the greens too fast. You know, but we also want the place to defend itself. You know, ideally, like you said, we hope it can be nice and firm, and it will be as long as we get the weather.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we would be a shame if we had you on and didn't get a little chance to talk agronomy, and kind of this leads into it. We're sitting here March. We talked about the Poa annua that you cultivate here. So what's your plans for the next 6 weeks as things start waking up? Like what's on the schedule turf wise?
Let the snow melt away.
Okay, yeah, you're still snow covered.
We did it. Well, it's melting quick, which is great. We did a late season aerification. We were very aggressive on the fairways. We verticut, top dress fairways heavy, aerified them. Did an aggressive aerification on the greens. You could still see holes out there.
Okay.
So come springtime, I mean, Jim and I were just talking. You know, we want to get out there, get rolling, get things cleaned up as soon as possible. You know, anytime you roll this time of year, it starts warming things up, starts moving the plant along. We're talking about maybe doing a very small coring tine on the greens just to bring up a little bit of material and drag it around. But that's really, other than verticutting and top dressing, we'll do that well into the season.
Wow.
So our aggressive aerification will always come at the end of this.
And it's already done.
So, you know, we'll tweak some stuff in the spring. We're always aerifying tees, you know, working on that. But fairways pretty much be coasting now.
So when it comes to throwing seed around, I know that you've done some seeding of the Poa annua, the pen Poa they call it, right? Now, but you don't throw that on tees.
No.
Oh, check this out. Here he is getting a prop.
This is one of my babies right here. So love this stuff.
The pen Poa.
The pen Poa.
Yeah, that's very
straight
cool.
From Dave Huff.
Oh, very cool. So yeah, you've seeded 2 greens of this, or one.
Yes, we did. When we rebuilt our 11th green last year, we needed to steal some sod from a putting green to be able to have enough sod to put back. We flipped the sod on that green.
Sure.
But the green got a little larger, so we had to steal from sod from a putting green, and then when we redid the putting green, we used the Poa.
Poa. Okay, so that's a move on greens.
Yeah, and then we've been plugging this in areas on greens, you know, seeding area, whatever, you know, any bent grass that spot I can find that I want to eradicate. You know, we go back in and punch a lot of this in, and yeah, I mean, our greens have really turned the corner as far as, you know, I think in combination with our practices and really beating up the surface and on the shoulder end of the seasons and trying to encourage the Poa annua, I love it.
It's very cool.
I love it.
And you in the last podcast we did, you put it so well that like you're really just trying to fix all the things that you had done to the place 30 years ago.
That's what you do, you know.
Hey,
it's I guess a bit of job security, but I mean, no, it's been a great progression, and you learn as you go. Yeah. You know, I have a couple of members that really fight me on wanting to regrass to bent grass, and we have that argument every year. You know. But no, as I'd like to say, as long as I'm going to be around,
right,
we'll be Poa annua.
But now, like like tee divots, you still throw bent grass down?
Absolutely. Tees and fairways are all bent.
You still throw bent grass around. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So that's where you're at right now. This all overwintered. You were happy with the new POA going into winter?
Walking around yesterday, even this morning after, some of the snow melt, I have a couple greens that are still under snow, but I mean, looking at what we have out there, I'm extremely happy. So
nice.
I was texting the guys yesterday because I was down on our new 11th green. I said, there's a couple small patches of bent grass we're going to have to plug out of this thing. but
where
for the most
come
part.
From?
We have a nursery now that we seeded up here also.
Okay, but I'm saying that bent that's in there.
It's just from.
Well, you strip and flip, so there was bent.
There was always a little bent. There's always little patches out there still.
Sure.
I regrassed in the early 90s,
right,
to pen links. So I mean, and we've overseeded with a lot of different varieties of bent from that period till like maybe 10 years ago.
Got it.
So it's kind of been a 10-year focus for me now to get rid of the bent became the weed. So
right.
Yeah, it's good. So, I mean, the tournament's going to be great. It's going to be a really busy week.
This is what week now?
This is the last week of September, first weekend in October. So the actual tournament will be the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, that Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think those are the dates. So, which is great because the seniors, they do a 3-day deal.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
The schedule will revolve around the Golf Channel and when they're going to be broadcasting it. So it's no early tee times. We'll probably go off of both 9s at like 9 or 10 o'clock.
Awesome.
The busy part's going to be earlier in the week. We have Eagles Autism Foundation is going to be the first Pro-Am that Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Practice round Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are Pro-Ams as well.
That the tour does?
Yes.
Okay.
So there'll be Jefferson will be one of them.
Sure.
The Eagles Autism is one of the primary benefactors.
Sure.
So they'll have their selling out their group. But no, I think it's exciting. Most of the members are on board, and
it is an onslaught of golf.
It is.
And at that point.
It is. I mean, by the time the tournament gets here, it's going to be...
You have already set up the place for big events all week.
We'll relax, and, we're getting a bunch of volunteers that are starting to sign up and want to be out here. Cool. So,
well, we're excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, we're excited to have you a part of it. So,
Thanks,
a lot of you guys have really stepped up to help out, and we're gonna have a fun week. That's the thing is, I'm really excited about. It's just, working with a lot of our peers and just having a good time.
That's what it's about.
A great setup for breakfast. Got some guys stepping up to do that. And then, a little break during the day and then back at it in the evenings. But it's not going to be, that show up at 3 a.m. and go out. And
you won't have to.
We don't have to.
That's so nice.
It's kind of nice. So, I would say in the twilight of my career, I'm ecstatic to be able to host something like this. It'd be fun.
Right. You're right.
We're gonna have a lot of fun.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
Me too.
Thanks for being on.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody, the listener. Thank you. And check this out. John brought the prop, the Pen POA, and we got to see it in the field too. So cool.
All right,
brother.
Awesome.